us both for the first time today, and if you've joined us previously before, you are welcome. I hope you get value from your time here. This is Shield Africa. We are a non-profit and we are primarily dedicated to impacting the African continent, targeting youth and women with different interventions from agriculture to capacity building across several sectors. Josh, it's okay. Capacity building across several sectors and what have you. And it's such a pleasure, such an honor to be the one steering the affairs of this organization. So we're going to be looking at the topic, like we said before, we're looking at the topic systems, governance, and what? Internal control and compliance. So why does this topic matter? Okay, why does systems, why does it matter? Where's the topic? I want to Yes, I want to systems, governance, and operational excellence. I want us to write this down, please. Systems, governance, and operational excellence. Whether you have a small business, you need systems. You need governance, you need operational excellence. Whether you have a farm, whether you have 3 workers, you need systems, you need a governance structure, and you need operational excellence. So why does this topic matter? Let's go quickly into the lesson. It's going to be a short one. Let's quickly go. So many entrepreneurs believe that businesses fail because of lack of money. When you don't have money. But we understand that finance matters. Money is important. However, research consistently shows that poor systems, weak governance, inadequate controls, poor management practices are among the main reasons or the main causes of business failures globally. So let's look at some data. According to the US Bureau of Statistics, about 20% of businesses fail within their first year, while nearly 50% fail within their 5 years. Many of you who have been part of these classes before have already established this. You've already gotten enough data in this regard. And about 65% within 10 years of their business, they will fail. We understand that, yes, finance or lack of finance actually contributes to failure. I remember one of the posts that the team put up where they were asking land or finance. Who saw that post? Yes, land or finance, which matters most? A lot of people actually said finance. Yes, some people said land. Some people said they had issues like assessing lands, probably because they don't have access to the traditional stool or the governance systems within the communities. But a larger number of people said that the challenge. So yes, we acknowledge. Why am I echoing? Is everything okay? Hello? Am I good? Please confirm. Am I good? Yes. Okay, yes. So we said we acknowledge that access to finance contributes to failure, but weak operational systems, weak operational structures, lack of accountability, poor strategic planning are repeatedly identified as the major drivers of collapse of business. So let's bring it closer home. Research by organizations such as the IFC, African Development Bank, SMEDAN, indicates that African SMEs, most of us here run SMEs. I don't think there's anyone here who for now runs a large organization. We'll get there. We'll get there someday. But African SMEs, based on the research, we're seeing that most of these SMEs, not because of a lack of opportunities, but because they operate without proper systems for documentation, performance management, compliance, and financial controls. The world's most successful organizations, they operate through systems. Okay? They operate through systems. Let's look at companies like McDonald's. Many of you have heard of McDonald's. You've heard of Amazon. You've heard of Paystack. Other financial institutions, they process millions of transactions on a daily basis. But guess what? They do so through, take note of the word, carefully documented processes and encoded instruction systems. That's how they work, okay? And this same principle applies to small businesses. Like I said before, a farm can have 3 workers. It needs systems, okay? A farm can have 5 employees. It needs systems. A cooperative, a non-profit, a family business, whatever the case, you all need systems. So the size of the organization may change, but the need for system does not change. So that explains why systems and governance matters. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so this is very important to note. First things first, you are the first system. That's where many leaders fail. Okay, we are very quick to blame our staff. We're very quick to point at factors or reasons we think things are failing, but we are not quick to assess ourselves as leaders. Sustainable organizations are built upon sustainable leaders. Many entrepreneurs spend years trying to fix employees, but they are ignoring themselves. Okay? Meanwhile, what you see is that in many startups, employees, they often replicate the culture that they observe. And that's why you see that if the leader comes late to work, the employee will come late to work. If the leader just dresses shabbily to the office, the employees will start doing the same. And that's why even when the reverse happens to be the case, if the boss comes early, everybody establishes it. Everybody has now known that Oga or Madam comes early. And so what happens? Everybody is on their toe, and they're trying to get early to work. So they do what the leader constantly demonstrates. So if you are someone who is not driven by your vision and goal, your workers will not be driven too. So that means as an entrepreneur, you are the first system. So if you are not corporate, if you're not professional in your dealing, what you'll notice is that your workers will be casual about everything. So that's why you are the first system. Don't expect anything different from what you are mirroring to your staff. Okay? Don't expect anything different. So I once said something. If you're doing anything, you must apply pressure. You must apply speed. I think that was one of the first session we had for the year in March. So please, as a leader, always remember that you are your first system. So when it looks like a process is failing, when it looks like things are bad, when it looks like things don't make sense, take a step back. Don't blame your staff. Of course, there are times when you actually have to blame them. There are times when you actually have to look at them to the faces and tell them, this you've done is wrong, this you've done is wrong. But take some time and look at yourself. Look inward and ask yourself, what kind of system am I building here? It's a sad reality to conquer. What kind of system am I doing? What kind of impression am I giving these people about myself? We need to take time to reflect better. Okay? What kind of system am I building? What kind of impression am I giving these people? So many entrepreneurs operate in environments where corruption is normalized. I told you before, corruption is normalized, bribery is common, record keeping is weak, the systems are weak. So when that's the case, what you also see there is that informality is celebrated. Compliance is viewed as unnecessary. You tell people, bring the records, bring the receipts. They tell you or they ask you, is it necessary? That's because they did not see Oga keep receipts. They didn't see Oga keep anything. So, however, operating in a broken system is not an excuse to be part of the problem. So I am saying this to professionals because I also know that there are professionals in the room. All right. So when you work in an organization, you don't have to own it to do the right thing. If you work in a system, even if the system is broken, you can be part of the change. And no, I am not giving you this as motivational speech, as many people would call it. It's not a motivational speech. If you're in a system, things are broken, fix it. That's one thing we need to work on, even as a nation. People are saying, oh, I am throwing debris. Businesses that outlive their founders are built on principles. Okay, that's the same thing with nations. Nations that outlive their founders, they're built on principles. Okay, they are not built on exploitation. So as we delve into the topics and this cases proper, you must decide what kind of business you want to build. What kind of business do I want to build? What kind of leader do I want to be? Whether I own the business or not. Okay, and you must remember that systems, governance and excellence has to begin with you. Don't build a shabby system. Don't build a shabby system. Spend time researching, spend time reflecting on what has surpassed national, regional, and even continental landscapes, so that what you're building can compete equally even on a global scale. That's very important. And one thing that helps you achieve that, to be very honest, is system. One thing that helps you achieve that is having a governance structure. One thing that helps you achieve that is having a functional operating system. So, I said that being a good leader begins with you. And as the leader, you are the first system. Can we have the next slides, please? So systems thinking, we have some tables here. So this is a lab session. So we're going to be looking through together. Okay, systems thinking, we said, is the ability and the effort to see and reform an organization as an unconnected whole, rather than a collection of isolated activities. No, we're not speaking plenty grammar. At least as a nation, English is our first language. So no, this is not plenty grammar. Let me break it down for you. What we are trying to say is that you are thinking of yourself as a system when you are able to see your business as a business that, although is divided by departments and functions, it is still one system. And that one system across different departments or different functions has to be interconnected. Most people only see events. They see things in an isolated form, all right? But events are only symptoms of systems. So beneath every problem, beneath every event, are deeper structural causes. And a systems thinker would focus on fixing those root causes, all right? Than just fixing symptoms, than just fixing what is showing. But they will rather focus on fixing the root causes. So organizations that only respond to problems or respond to events or symptoms and do so repeatedly realize that they begin to face problems. And it looks like these problems don't get solved. Let's do the systems test. Let's look at core business systems every organization needs. Number 1, question: can my business function effectively for 1 week without me? That's the first systems test. The answer, before I even ask some of you, the answer is no. If you are not there for 1 week, the whole thing will collapse. Nothing will be happening. Let me tell you something. The last time I was officially here in this place was during the last sustainability lab. This is I've been here for maybe I came to attend an event, but not here as my office. And this is the next time after that time that I've been here. But things have been going on. That's how you do a systems test. You need to check if I'm not there, will things work? Do you know, I was telling our COO recently, I said, I think you guys have gotten a hang of everything now. I think I'm going to now leave you people and go and do something else with my time. And they were laughing. But I was just saying the truth. Because for me, I'm not routine-based. I'm not routine, doing the same thing every day. Okay, of course, there are things you must compulsorily do on a routine basis, like take care of your family and all those things. But once I build a system, like that, I mean an official, professional system, and it's stable, I delegate it, I hand it over to a competent team, and then I'm checking what's the next important project that we can work on. So in systems thinking, that's the first thing you use to check. Have you reached a point in your business? Have you been able to raise the system in a way where that business functions without you? Like we wrote here, because I see a very common pattern in jobs. When you have a job, you don't want to teach anybody because you're afraid of losing your job. Many of you need to realize that you are bigger than your jobs. Okay? And I keep saying it. It's not really your job that feeds you, even if you think it's your job. If you doubt me, check the quality of life you're living. Check the amount of money you're spending on your daily transportation, your feeding, your children's school fees, versus how much you earn in your job. You would agree with me that what you get from your job is smaller than what you're actually spending. My question to you is, where did the other money come from? Have you ever thought about it? And no, you may not have a side business or a side hustle, as they call it, but you realize that I'm actually spending more. The question is, where did the other money come from? Is it just me, or does it happen to most of us? Someone says grace. I don't argue it. It's true. Yeah, it's grace. All right. So, but what does that tell you? It tells you that you're actually bigger than a job. Take a job as an opportunity to add value to a business or to an organization. Take a job as the opportunity to learn something. Take a job as the opportunity to impact people. Always remember that you are bigger than jobs. If you have that mindset, you'll be very free-spirited in your job place. And what you do when you get there is you just deliver value, and you become very easy to work with. You're not an unnecessarily complicated individual who people have to try to break walls, to be able to assess or to be able to get to. So very important. So the more you give value, the more you help people, the more you grow within a system. It's very small-mindedness to think that if you hoard information, then you are the master, you become the master. I think that's now outdated. If it was the case before, it's outdated now. All right, so that was just to correct or add to that information. But like I said, the goal is to build a business and not to create a dependency on yourself. So let's do a bit of comparison between founder-dependent business and the system-dependent business. So when you look at the founder-dependent business, first you see that decisions are made by the founder alone. Only me, myself, and I. You just sit down, you decide what you want to do. And the founder of a whole organization with 15 staff, with 25 staff, just decide something. But a system-dependent business is guided by documented policies. Okay, so there are policies that we refer to. If anything has to be decided, we check, what does the policy say? What does the policy state? And we just open it, refer. You see, even in legal cases, have you realized that they would refer you to a case of Adamawa versus Taraba. I'm just giving examples, okay? So Adamawa versus Taraba, in the case of these versus this, and they now check what was the judge's decision. So what does that tell you? There is always a reference point. So even in a business, there should always be a reference point. The reference point should not just be one individual. It should be a set of policies. It should be a set of written documents. And this is the part that many people run away from. Please don't run away from writing documents, okay? If you can't do it, go get 1-2 brilliant people who have energy, because I realize that many business owners don't have energy for writing too much. They are thinking, and all kudos to them. They are thinking really about how to make money. They are thinking about who to meet. They are thinking about how to market their produce. They are thinking about meetings. So these guys, honest, even me, I used to be very great with writing, but I realized that as the demands of pushing the businesses fall on me, I hardly have time for that. I'm just telling my team, okay, you guys do this and send it to me for review. What's my point? But you know that you need policies. Because you need policies, get those amongst you, your team, who are sharper, who have the energy for writing, and get them to do proper research and get them to send you policies. Okay? Activities depend on the founder's availability. If Madam is not around, we will not do anything. The business should keep running. People should be able to walk in, ask for services and get the services rendered to them. Even if Madam or Oga is in the office or not, people should be able to reach the business, get the service that they want. Okay? Let it not be that you own a salon and you as the business owner, because you have a particular style you can make, your girls that work with you and your gentlemen that work with you don't know how to make the style. So because you're not around, or because you just gave birth, you just had a baby, and if you've had a baby, you have to be away for at least 3 months. So does that mean that the whole thing will be shut down? No, it shouldn't be. So activities should be guided by SOPs. We're going to look at that very shortly. Performance is informal and subjective in the case of a founder-dependent business, but in the case of a system-dependent business, performance is guided by KPIs. All right, accountability is personal and inconsistent for the case of founder-dependent business, but for a system-dependent business, accountability is guided by reporting systems. Okay, and lastly, business cannot survive without the founder. Once the founder shifts away or changes location, the business collapses, but the business can operate and scale independently. I can travel somewhere and be somewhere for the next 6 months. This business will still be running. It will still be running. And that's how you do the systems test. So I encourage all of us to go do a systems test on what we're doing. And if you think that, be very honest with yourself. If you don't think you're going to be honest, ask your team members to do the process independent of you. Because sometimes we lie to ourselves and it's not very good. All right. So you need your team to look at you or work on the process without you, so that you get an objective, with emphasis on the word objective, so that you get an objective feedback from them. Okay, so can we look at core business system every organization needs? We have written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'll lastly add 8. So we've written 6 systems that your business should have, and we've written the primary questions that these systems answer. Number 1, a strategy system. Where are we going? What, or rather, how do we get there? So what this entails is that you are setting a 5-year goal, a 3-year goal, depending on how you want things to go. So, but you must ask yourself, where are we going? Now, why is this aspect important? Many of us running businesses are running blindly, or we have been put there out of circumstance. So they say as breeze is blowing, that's how you're just going. No, do not allow the breeze to blow you to any direction. Take some time and ask yourself, where am I going and how do I get there? Financial system, how do we manage? How do we track? How do we grow our money? Second important system and question that system will answer. Number 3, sales system. How do we consistently acquire customers? How do we consistently acquire customers? The next one is customer service system. How do we retain and delight customers? See, these are questions, if I were you, I would ask myself this question every month. I will have business review meetings. It's not a question to ask yourself once in a year, because what will happen if you only do that once in a year is that you will have made too many mistakes without adequate corrections. And then by the time you're realizing or tracking these things, you have gone too far in your mistakes. So if I were you, I will not even wait for the end of the year. The end of the year is good for writing a holistic, consolidated report. But on a monthly basis, I will break down these plans into per month. And I will revisit in business review meetings the strategy and every business system and re-ask myself the question to check where we really are. If you can do this, it's a lot of work. But if you can do this, you will be shocked where you will be in 5 years. You will grow a formidable system. You will grow a formidable organization. The next important question that you ask yourself is the operation systems. How do we deliver value consistently, with emphasis on the word consistently? Next question is human resource system. How do we recruit? How do we manage? How do we develop people? Compliance system. How do we remain lawful? And how do we protect the organization? And lastly, performance management system. How do we measure and how do we improve our results? Systems thinking. Anyone has a question? You see this thing, this particular slide? I want you to dwell here for a very long time over the next few weeks. The systems test and the core business system or systems that every organization needs. I want you to look at the business system, and I want you to take a very close look at the questions that these systems are asking to help your evaluation and to help your business growth. The goal is not to raise one of the businesses. The goal, like we said, is to raise a formidable business in your sector. You must stand out in your sector. People should look at you and say, nah, these guys, they know what they're doing. There may be many fashion homes in Nigeria today, but let it be that when they look at yours, they'll say, these guys know what they're doing. Be ready and willing to do the work. Okay? Okay? You know, some of the important things don't necessarily have to be passed by shouting. I hope you know. I don't have to start saying systems thinking. I don't have to. I don't have to do that. Okay? That's why I had to repeat myself. I tell you, take the next few weeks and study that particular slide. Ask yourself the question, okay? Of course, if you have any questions, or reach our team, and if they think it's something they need me to step into, I'll be happy to do that. But take your time and ask yourself this question, okay? And like I told you last month, have business review meetings. It's important. It's even in your business review meetings, that's where you'll be checking this thing. Don't hold meetings to shout and quarrel staff only. When this person do, we had this meeting, not deliver this one. Why you not deliver this one? All of you, they kill me. No, give me high blood pressure. That's what most business owners do in meetings. They just hold meetings and they are just quarreling with everybody. I mean, I know things can be very tough. And yes, when there's pressure to deliver, a lot of times the owner of the business is on the edge and can really shout and be very emotional because of the passion that they have and the pressure that is on them to deliver. But let's look away from that pressure and let's just look at ourselves like we're genuinely building a system. So where we have objective conversations. Many of us can't take it if our staff tells us something like, okay, I respectfully, please, if I think we should do this, I think we should do that. We are not able to take it. We're not even able to take suggestions. People want to suggest to you. They are afraid to tell you, this is what I suggest. If we are running an actual business, okay, you are not a monarch. A monarch, people can be a bit If what you run is an actual business that is providing services to people, I think you should be accessible. Okay, so let your staff be able to tell you what they genuinely think. Have proper conversations. And yes, you have brilliant staff. Don't think that your staff are dull. Don't think they're incompetent. That's another thing. Many of you will say, I don't even have one dependable person. You can make every one of your team members dependable. For me, even my guy that cleans this facility is a highly dependable person. I don't think, it's only one key person. No, everyone is dependable. If we can just calm down and take them through the right process, put them through the right training, I think they will be dependable. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. We're looking at standard operating procedures. Still looking at systems thinking, all right? So we usually call it SOP. It's usually called SOP. So a standard operating procedure is a documented step-by-step guide explaining exactly how a recurring task, with emphasis on the word recurring, how a recurring task should be performed by who, in what order, and to what standard. Okay? By who, in what order, and to what standard. All right. So the examples of SOPs that every business should have, we've listed about 6 for you. Can I get a quick, can I do a quick assessment? I'll just point at some of you so that you tell me the nature of your business so that we are able to see if this is something that will apply to your business. Okay? So, Benedicta, can you pass the mic to this gentleman wearing black? All right, hi.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. What's your name?
My name is Franklin.
Franklin, can you tell us the nature of your business?
I run an NGO.
Lovely. You run an NGO?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what's your NGO focused on?
Education and humanitarian.
Lovely. Very lovely. Give me a second. The guys on the media, Emmanuel, can you give me a moment? Apologize for that break in transmission. We're trying to achieve a certain quality of output. So from time to time, I have to call them to do that check. Franklin?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you are a non-profit?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're majorly focused on education and what?
Humanitarian.
Humanitarian projects. So how long has your NGO been operating for?
Just 2 years.
2 years is not just, it's a lot of time. Well done. Well done to you and your team. And yes, what's the name of your organization?
Brand New World Educational and Humanitarian Foundation.
Brand New World.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, I love that name. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, I've heard from you. He runs a painting business. Do you have a team? Do you have people? Okay, all right, but you run a painting business. Fantastic. I know you run an agri business. I know you run a catering business. I know you run an IVF medical business. We don't like to call medical field business, but it's a business, not necessarily looking at it from money, but it's a practice and it's something that keeps you busy. So it's a busyness. Okay, that's okay. All right, so for the other people in the room, I think I just wanted to pick a number of you to check, and understand what you do, because we wanted to check if the examples of the SOPs that we have put here can sort of apply to what you're doing. First, customer onboarding SOP, how new clients are welcomed and how new clients are set up. So, do you want to take some time in your business to actually write on how you're going to welcome new clients and how you're going to set them up, especially in 2026? Especially for you, for example, who runs an IVF business. People need a level of privacy, discretion when they approach you. So you have to draft these SOPs and ensure that when you and your team are doing these things, you are able to achieve or deliver the same standard of value to these people, so that they don't only speak with you and say, oh yeah, when I was speaking to her, I really felt seen, I felt heard, I felt valued. But then when I was now speaking to maybe your colleague, I felt like they don't even know what they're doing. The SOP will make sure that everybody that either your clients or anybody comes in contact with is getting the same measure of service. So in looking at the standard operating procedure for customer onboarding SOP, let me tell you one that we use here. Okay, for our media business, if a client contacts the business, hello, I'm trying to make inquiries maybe for a wedding I have, or I want to use your studio for a live recording, or the person just says hello or good evening, good afternoon, the first thing our customer representatives will say is, hello, thank you for contacting Skywide Media and Events. How can we help? So it doesn't matter who is on duty that day in customer service. They have already been trained that for customer onboarding SOP, that is the first thing you say to a client. So in drafting it, we have that as an SOP, and our customer care reps understand how to onboard. The next thing is that the clients will tell you what they want. Oh, I want to organize a live recording at your studio, or I have a wedding and I'm planning and I want to make use of your marquee, or I have a concert, a revival service, or social event and I want to make use of your marquee. Okay, great. We'll send you our package. We'll send you a rider. There is a package for whichever service, and we share. And once we share, we wait. In our SOP, what we're also looking at is when the client has seen the package, sometimes they don't immediately say, we will pay, or they just take it sometimes, and for 3 days they are quiet. We again have a process, still in the customer onboarding and setup. We again have the process of following up. It's all a process. We follow up. Hello, we sent you our rider, or we sent you our package 3 days ago. We want to know if you've taken some time to look at the package and how you would like to proceed. That is customer onboarding SOP. So everybody on duty already knows that this is how to follow up until you are able to reach some kind of conclusion and make that person an actual client. Because in the initial stage, or at the initial stage, they are just called maybe people making inquiries. They are not yet fully clients if they have not purchased a service from you. So we ask those questions until the person says, oh, okay, I was wondering if you have a discount. There's also a way they are responded to. We explain to them, why this is possible and why this is not possible. Make it as part of your SOP, if you're doing a customer-centered business, that you take time to explain to your clients why you cannot give them certain services. Don't just say no. That's a mistake many of us make. I was wondering if you can give me for this price, and we just say, no, it's not possible. What we do, for example, is we try to help you understand why we're saying no to you. Okay? We tell you, first of all, that the cost of diesel has increased. We also tell you that the quality of the equipment we have is very high end. Because the quality of the equipment we use here is not the same thing you find everywhere. Okay, we're not saying we are the best everywhere. We're just saying that the quality of what we have is different from for example, I'm giving you my business as an example. I'm not saying that you have to use the same thing. For example, in the media and events business, our lead mic is Kelly, what's the name? It's called a QLXD mic. Not everybody uses a QLXD for a lead mic. Some people use an SLXD for a lead mic. And the SLXD is what we use for backup. Am I correct, sound guys? Yes, so that just gives you an example of maybe the premium services that we offer. Even some people are like, oh, wow, all your backup are SLXD. We say yes. Oh, that's nice. Some people still use the old cord mics, SM58 or 50 something. They're all good. We're just saying we went for premium. Okay, we use some of the new Sony cameras. Okay, so, and even our space is big. So we tell you why we charge what we charge. And at the end of the day, you would see that some clients, at the end of the day, some clients will say, based on what you've explained to me, I think your price is really fair. But that's the same client before that was saying, it's expensive. And that's because they did not understand. So your responsibility as a business owner is not to just say no. In setting up your SOPs, make sure that you train your team to explain to clients why that hairstyle is expensive. I remember I wanted to make one hairstyle. I called the salon, and the salon gave me price. I was like, what? They now said, Ma, let's explain to you how that hair is made. If you want to make that hair, it's not everybody that you see here that can make. I was like, no, it's just a common braid now. They said, no, there's a unique way they braid it. Some people even told me they braid this particular one to the left, when other people braid other ones to the right. I was like, okay. So they said not everybody can braid to the left. I never knew that. But they helped me understand. So when they helped me understand, and they said this style can take hours to make because we are making it micro, we are making it this, we're making it that. So they took time, and then when I saw everything they explained, I said, okay, I had to pay. But if I didn't understand, I would just look down on the price and I would just say, they're overcharging. You guys are overcharging. So in your customer onboarding SOP, take time to first welcome and then set up customers properly. Procurement SOPs. How do we, get or purchase goods and services? An ideal company have an SOP for purchasing goods and services. If you want to purchase goods and services, you can set up your SOPs in such a way that if you're buying something, they give you invoice. It's a business. Don't just go, okay, I don't buy them. They just buy, and they come. No document, nothing. They just throw it at you. No, you don't even know where this equipment or these things are kept. Let them give you invoice and let them address it to the organization. Okay? They will address it to the organization. Do you know, even for us, all the businesses we set, we'll say, go and get invoice. Let them, whichever business it is, let them write it to us. And then we'll acknowledge, and then we pay. It may look long, but at the end it will make sense. Cash handling SOP. How do we receive money? How do we record money? How do we deposit money? Very important. So for cash handling, some people tell you, our policy is that we don't receive cash. Our policy is that if you're paying money, you have to make a transfer. And probably that's because they've had cases in the past where people or staff stole money. So they're trying to make sure that money is only going to the right channel. So they had to, bring up an SOP where you don't receive cash. We just give you the account and you make the transfer. Recruitment SOP. This is very, very key. How new staff are identified, how new staff are received. How new staff are identified, how new staff are interviewed, how new staff are hired. Okay, that's process. Have you not seen where they're recruiting someone and the people start asking you funny questions in your interview? That's not even related to your interview. Somebody will start asking you, are you pregnant? That is very unprofessional, but it happens. I've had people complain to me that I went there and they were asking me, am I pregnant? Am I married? How many children do I have? I understand that once in a while, in a very relaxed format, such questions can be asked. But when the questions are thrown at you like a dart, okay, like you're throwing it on a board, you know. And when it's asked in a friendly manner of maybe the interviewer just trying to know you a bit better, you also know. So there's a process for that. I missed out the complaint resolution SOP, how customer complaints are received and resolved. If you're doing a service business, you must have customer complaints coming once in a while, no matter how excellent your service happens. I'll give an example where I'm sharing, with you from our own experience so that you can learn. We've had times when, we run one of our businesses, as you know, is the media business and event business. So we have some media hitches, which is very normal. There are times when a client there was an incident once where a client did an event and the files just vanished. Oh, people who do media business, they will tell you. They tell you that you can take pictures, and after you take pictures, you go for your pictures. The photography studio will tell you, we can't find your pictures. It happens. It happens. I've seen. Oh God, there was an incident of someone who went to cover a wedding, and they said, and that one, I was like, they sent you. I've heard of it. I've heard of it before. They could not find the files. So what I do, first of all, is I try to make sure that we don't even have such cases. Again, an SOP has to be put in place to ensure that, okay, when we do a service kind of business, how do we ensure that doesn't even happen in the first place? So we have SOPs that guide our staff how to handle the equipment, how to back up, how to make sure that this and this and this doesn't happen. And one thing we also do, okay, this should have been said at the end, but before I forget, let me say it. When you do SOPs, note that your SOPs are non-exhaustive. Why am I saying that? As you grow in your business, every day Once one challenge comes and you address it, you would realize that you need to update your SOP based on your learning from that experience. And so we had a situation once where files just got missing from a client's event. But thankfully, we also had it backed up in a live stream, right? So because we had it backed up in a live stream, we were able to recover the live stream files, but we were not able to recover the raw files. We had to discuss compensation. That's where I talked about handling customer complaint resolution. How do you receive their complaints? How do you resolve their complaints? Some kind of succor, some kind of encouragement for what has happened. So guess what we've had to do a couple of times. For such cases, sometimes we've had to even give out extra hours just to make up for a case. So I had a situation. I think a few weeks ago, somebody made a dress for me, and I had just informed responsible persons who performs each step. You must assign responsibility. And I would advise that in your assigning of responsibilities, please do not put names of individuals, put names of offices. Okay? So what I mean, for example, is this is a studio. So instead of saying, our studio manager, for example, now is Fiyin. Instead of saying Fiyin will do this, you say the studio manager will do this. Why? Because your studio manager can change anytime. It may not be Fiyin next time. Fiyin could have been moved to another department, and somebody else may have been moved to take over Fiyin's role. So you don't want to put individual names. You put names of offices. Okay? That would be very helpful. Then step-by-step instruction, clear numbered step. If you have a clear numbered step, when a client reaches out, the first thing to say is 1. The second thing to say is 2. If in the case the conversation goes like this, the next way to respond is this. When you are about to set up for an event, the first thing to do is 1, you clean the room. Number 2, you put on the lights. This thing look like A for 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 3, 4. It looks like a rhyme, but if you can itemize it to the point where it sounds like a rhyme, you would find out that processes go seamlessly. And when you train, you would see the outcome easily. Standards and quality criteria. What does a successful outcome look like? Already draw the picture in your head. So you want to see what it looks like already from the beginning so that you can state it in your SOP, so that when your team achieves it, you know, okay. So what do I mean? Your standards and quality criteria would now mean that a shut down studio would mean that, what do they call this now? LEDs are off, cameras are kept in their bags, the pianos are kept in their bags, televisions placed in their rightful offices, chairs stacked and packed. That is already a clear picture of what the end point will look like. So when you are done shutting down the space, you now look, you can start checking the boxes. Then you are done and you shut down. That's an actual SOP. Then you review dates. When will the SOP be updated? So why you need to have a review date in your SOP is because, like we explained, things are non-exhaustive. So you should have a date when you go back to it. If there is no incident before then, okay? Because sometimes it's incidents that happen that require you to go back and update your SOP. For example, I once heard a situation where an organization, the factory, okay, and the factory had some machine that was on, and somebody put their hand in the machine and they cut off a couple of the person's fingers, okay, from the machine. And everyone was asking, what happened? How come? And I think they immediately went back to the SOP. How did this happen? Then they realized that an equipment was not off. You know, something like that. So if such incidents happen, you need to quickly go back after you've resolved the incident. Don't go and put it back before, you are just playing funny games. Just after resolving the incident, like taking the person to the hospital, reporting the case to the investors, and compensating the individual, family, and doing all of that processes. Next thing is to pick your SOP and update it as soon as possible based on your learning from that experience. Okay, I want us to do a task right now. Let me see. I want us to make an assumption. All right? I want us to make an assumption that, let me use a common sector, catering sector. Confidence? Please come. Get the microphone and come. Stand before us. Yes. Come this way. Okay, so confidence is going to be leading an SOP. Can we bring the board near here, or do we leave it here? Do we leave the board here? No, we want to work here, so we actually... All right. So confidence is the leader of a catering. It's a case study now. Josh, we want to start the case study. So confidence is the leader of a catering school, and she teaches people how to prepare, let's say, chin chin or fried rice, whichever one, for an event, and they have to deliver an event. So there are SOPs for the kitchen. As she enters the kitchen or the bakery, which you tell me whichever one you want to use, whichever scenario you want to paint, what would be if you had to follow this standard of 6 examples of SOPs that every business should have, can you take me through what SOPs you would design for your customer onboarding, for your procurement, for your cash handling, for your complaints resolution, for your recruitment, for your stock inventory management? Do you think you want to take up that task for 5 minutes? Can you?
Yes,
Will you? Because I know you can. Okay, so let's listen to confidence. Put our hands together for her. Thank you. Over to you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Confidence, and I own. Is it okay standing here? Am I okay here? Okay, I owned. Let's say 2 businesses. Let me use that one. Agro processing and then the catering. Yes. Okay. So what I normally do is when a customer messages me concerning my services or product or whatever it is, I usually, let's go to the first step, customer onboarding, how new clients are welcome and set up. So I make sure I welcome them and then ensure to understand what exactly they need. Some people need food bowls. Okay.
Explain to us what you will act as if we are drafting SOP now for that business. Okay. That's what we want to do.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
you are our CEO. You are our. Let's rather say you are our COO, because it's actually COOs that draft SOPs, right? So because the head of operations actually drafts SOPs. So so hey, we've come to staff meeting and we want to draft SOPs. So take over.
Okay. For Else Cuisina, yes, that's the name actually. For Else Cuisina, how we onboard new clients. The first step is you have to make sure that you are well aware and you understand what the client needs. Some clients want food bowls. They just want food in their house. Some clients want catering for a birthday. Some clients want catering for weddings, and it depends on what exactly they want. So you will have to be careful to make sure to understand what the client wants. That will determine I'll not use the word how much, but that will determine every other process actually, procurement and then cash and every other thing. So let's just use food bowls for example. We're attending to a customer that probably wants is a family of 5 and wants to feed her she wants to feed her family for a week or 2. Okay, let's use 2 weeks. Yes, let's use 2 weeks. And she's very so
I like how you are categorizing your customers.
Yeah.
You know, where you have talked about a wedding and now you are talking about a family.
yes.
All right. So does that mean that your customer onboarding SOP for families or small events will be different from weddings? Because I need to know why you are categorizing it now.
Okay. They are different. Well, it was slightly yes, they are different because what the procedures involved for catering for a wedding is very much different for, let's say, a birthday or a picnic or a family of 5. Yes. So that's why we're pinpointing it to just a family of 5 now. So we'll make sure that we actually get to know what her family, their taste and their peculiarities are. There are some families that don't like pepper, or they don't eat salt, or just little things. So it's very important. It's important to get it now so that we'll avoid complaints later on. I have had clients that have told me, I didn't like this food. Why? Because there was no pepper. And I realized that, yes, ma'am.
You're still explaining to me.
Okay, sorry. Okay, there are some families
Who understands what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
We are your staff. We are here to draft SOP for L
Cuisine.
So, we want to draft SOP. Who can be her support staff so that a support staff, you want to help? Okay, so come and join her. But can you do something for your catering business, or you want to? Gender balance. Okay, please go. Okay, for gender balance, please go. Please go.
But anyway, it's fine.
Let's help. Please take this. Hi. Okay.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, my name is Joseph, the founder of Doxa Manufacturing. And in Doxa Manufacturing, we have Prime Gold. That's one of our brand. Prime Gold is an interior painting that we do. So if we're onboarding a customer or a new client, the first thing we do is to know, because now majorly what we're operating with is dealers. So we don't deal with direct customers, like one-on-one services. Okay, maybe let's say you have a house, you want to paint, and you come directly to me now. I won't be able to give you that services in the aspect of as a dealer, because what we do with dealers is that they buy in bulk. You buy in just few quantities, and it's just temporal. But dealers buy in bulk and in consistency. So what we do now, if I'm onboarding a dealer, a new dealer, is this. The first thing I think I would do, or as a business, the first thing, if a customer sends us a message is, okay, sorry. The first thing we do as a team is to put in, let's see, the first thing you do is, maybe you send us a message. Now, there has to be a welcoming message. Welcome to Doxa. All right. Now, there has to be a welcoming address to the customer or the client. Now, the next thing the sales rep or whoever is in charge of attending to that client will do while onboarding is to know the client's demands. So let's say we have a package of 500K if you want to be a dealer that wants to supply for Prime Good. if you have a package of 500, okay. So now we want to know the kind of products you need. Now in Prime Gold, we have about 4 products. We have the satin, we have the emulsion, we have the mats. Those are just basics. So now what we do is that when we welcome you, first thing is to ask you certain questions like, what are you, because we don't want to go in directly and say, okay, this is the amount we have exactly. We want to ask you questions like, how much are you budgeting to start your purchase with? So we know already in our own end, we have a system. Okay, let's say a customer that is buying 100 bucket, maybe you're spending about 500K. But we wouldn't want to go directly. The salesperson wouldn't tell you that, okay, we have a product or package for 500K. So except he asks that question, okay, I want to know, or do you have an invoice, or do you have something that, let me just go through, except in that aspect. But if he doesn't ask, what we do is to just give you a framework. Okay, how much is your budget, so that we know what to work with. Because I've been doing painting for like over 7 years now as a skills. So what we do now is that if you come to me and you are saying, okay, I want to paint a 2-bedroom flat, I'm not going to say, okay, this is what it costs. I'm going to ask you, what's your budget? Because if I give you a cost, probably what you intend to spend is more than what, let's say I give you 300K for a 3-bedroom flat, and probably you are budgeting 500K. So I would like to, okay, what's your cost? If you say 500K and initially 300K can go with it, I'll be like, I'm not really sure that will work, but let's talk to the team and see what we can do to see how we can onboard you or fit you into what we are doing. So the first thing is a welcome address, know the customer's demands, and know the customer's demand.
Let me stop you on
Okay.
move to procurement.
Okay. So
How do you buy your pens?
So we move to procurement. So as a manufacturing company, there are suppliers within Abuja. So it's less expensive here in Abuja. It's more cheaper if we are buying in bulk. Maybe let's say from Lagos, it's more cheaper. But now once we do the cost of transportation, since we are still growing at the moment, once we do the cost of transportation and everything, you discover that once you add your transport cost, it's more expensive. So it's better we just purchase directly from sub-dealers that buy from these manufacturers with Abuja. So what we do now is that we get 100 bucket of paint now. Okay, let's see. We need 100 bucket of paint now. Okay, let's see. We need 5 bags of calcium. So there's someone in charge of these inventories. So what he does is that the prices changes almost frequently because of inflation and other factors that occurs along the line. So what that person in charge of procurement does is that he has a record system with him. Once he reaches out to the supplier and the supplier tells him the record, what we do now is that if it is more expensive than before, we'll have to update our informations on the procurement system or records.
I want to ask a question.
Okay, ma.
To El Cuisina.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a. Okay, the microphone. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Daniel. Joseph. So I want to ask a question, right?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You have made some food
Yes, ma'am.
and you have delivered to a client.
Yes.
And they did not like the food, like you were saying, there's pepper or there's too much salt or something.
Yes.
Tell me about what SOP you would have to develop going forward because of such kinds of complaints.
The SOP that we have developed, I'm speaking as it is that during the customer onboarding system, we actually make sure to take the details, also be very much informed of the customer's taste in food
From the beginning.
from the beginning. So
Alright.
yes, so that in case of allergies, in case of
Do you have it anywhere in the SOP where you would ask, are you allergic to anything?
yes, it's even written in the menu.
Okay.
The menu when the customer asks me for price and then I send the brochure. When we send the brochure, it's written there that whatever you are allergic to, please specify. Whatever you see, whatever ingredients you don't eat, specify so that we could tailor the food according to your taste.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, we would have continued this process, but for time's sake, we'll have to shut it down. Thank you so much for your engagement and your involvement on this. Thank you. All right, so we move from SOPs and we want to touch on KPIs. And for those of us who work for organizations, KPIs are a thing where you have to, that you have to feel every year, sometimes mid-years. So it's important that we also touch on it. So a key performance indicator is a measurable value that demonstrates how if who is on the slide? Who is the person there? Thank you. So a key performance indicator, thank you, please push it, thank you. A key performance indicator is a measurable value that demonstrates how effectively an individual, team, or organization is achieving its key objectives. Okay? Characteristics of a well-designed KPI. Good KPIs follow the SMART framework. The SMART framework. I because of time, I don't know if I want to touch on the other components. Can we move those to next month, team? Because I really want to dwell on KPIs. Yeah, I want us to spend some time on the KPIs. So we're looking at the characteristics of a well-designed KPI. So we said good key performance indicators follow the SMART framework, which means that they are specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, they are relevant, and they are time-bound. So, the steps to implement a KPI framework. Before we look at the steps, I think we need to spend some time to understand what it means to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. If I ask most of us here, what do you really aim for your business to achieve in the next 1 year? I want to be the number one, let us say, which company would I use now? Okay, I want to be the number one or the most sought after painter in Abuja in 2026. How smart is that? How specific is that? That's too generalized. Can you add some measurability to what you stated? How achievable is that? What are you going to do to make it really, really achievable? So for specific, we mean, have you clearly defined with no ambiguity the plan? Because saying I want to be the number one painter in Abuja sounds so ambiguous. But can you clearly define what you mean by the number one painter in Abuja? That's what it means to be specific. So I would give you an example, or maybe I won't give you an example from my head. I would rather give you the examples that we've prepared for you. Okay, but that's what it means, okay, to be specific. Then when we're talking about measurability, we're asking, can you track it with data? Can you put a number to what you want to do? And we're not just saying number one painter. We're saying you want to be a painter for how many clients? With how many buckets? In how many locations? So you see these points that I've made, you have to attach numbers to them. How many cities? How many countries? How many continents? How many states? How many people? So how many? Can you put a number to it? So that's what we mean by what? Measurability. Then the next one is achievable. We mean, is it realistic? Is it realistic enough based on current or available resources? Don't just talk because I have faith. Somebody was saying, we have grace, right? So we're not just talking because of faith. You are checking the reality of what you are building. So based on what I'm building, do we have the capacity, do we have the resources to be in in Brazil this year? Do we have the capacity to expand what we're doing into Brazil this year? Or are we just making mouth? Are we just talking? So that possibility of achieving it as clearly as possible has to be there when you're setting your KPI. The next one is what? R. R is relevant. What we mean is directly connected to the strategic objectives of the organization. Some of us are calling plans and KPIs, but they do not in any way link to what the organization aims to achieve. And so if it's not relevant to the organization, it means that everything you have done is a waste, because you cannot plug it into any result. Remember, when we started this conversation, we said that a system is you bringing together interconnected dots, but bringing it to become whole, making it to become whole, making it to become consolidated. That's when and where it becomes a system. So if there is nowhere in your system to plug your achievements, then it's a waste. So it's not relevant. And then, of course, time-bound. When I said time-bound, what I meant was how long? In 1 year? In 6 months? You must attach time to it. So what do you do when you want to implement, or what are the steps you do when you want to implement KPI framework? Number one, you have to identify your strategic objectives for the year. It's very important. When you start off at the beginning of the year, don't be everywhere. List 4 or 5 key things that you want to do. This year, we want to make 100 million naira. Don't be overly ambitious to start calling $1 billion when you haven't even made 5 million naira. No. This year, we want to make 100 million naira. Okay? So be very strategic. Okay? Or be very particular. We want to make 100 million naira. Number 2, we want to operate in 5 different states. We want to expand to 5 different states in Nigeria. Those are key objectives that you set up for yourself. We want to hire 50 more people. This year, we want to, think about it, whatever it is that your business needs. So you just set those strategic objectives. All right. So the next step is to identify, is to establish a reporting frequency and review. No. I'm sorry. This is going this way. We want to identify measurable success indicators. What I mean by identifying the measurable success indicators, what does success look like for you? Remember the slide before, we had talked about the point where you have already painted a mental picture of what you want it to be, or what the finished product or the finished stage looks like. Who remembers that time we said it? So that you do a quick checklist. Okay, I want a situation where by the time we're done shutting down the studio, we are seeing that all the chairs are stacked, all the lights are off, all the screens are shut down, all the equipment are put in their cartons or in their bags, so that as you're checking from the door, okay, check. You know that you are done. So you must identify measurable success indicators. So if we have said that we want to we're aiming to expand to, then the next thing you say, if we are doing 5 states, success indicators for you this year is that you can expand to 5 states. So you put it 5 states. 100 million naira. So every year you are checking, every month rather, you are checking revenue. So how much do we need to make in a month to be able to hit 100 million naira? How many clients, how many different clients? We need to have 100 different clients, or 100 bowls. We need to make 100 bowls of salad or whatever it is in a quarter. So put a number to it, and that number is what indicates success for you. Put a number to your revenue, put a number to the number of people you want to hire, put a number to the number of branches you want to open, put a number to everything, because that is what will indicate success for you. And the next thing is to define a clear target. So when you've had that identification of what success is, then you make it clear. What's the target? What are we aiming to do clearly? Because one thing with KPIs is that you have to keep going clearer, and you have to keep breaking it down. You have to keep breaking it down until it becomes clear, not just to you, but to your team. Not just to you, but to your team. For example, you say, for example, you want to increase revenue by December 2027 or by 20th of December. So that's your clear target. So everybody is trying to increase revenue by 20% but before December. So that is the clear target. The next thing is to assign responsibility in the KPI. So you need to know, okay, if we're setting a business KPI, who is responsible for what? So among your team, in achieving this goal, who is responsible for training the staff? Who is responsible for marketing? So that if sales are slow, you know who to look at. Because the challenge we have as business owners is that sales are slow, but you are looking at the person whose work was to write the SOPs in the office. No. That's not the person responsible for increasing revenue directly. You're looking at the person whose work is to maybe make drafts and put on social media. He's not the one for... Is there somebody on the field carrying the eggs that's coming from your farm and marketing it across those houses? That's the person to hold when sales are poor. So you must know, based on deliverables, whose responsibility it is to deliver financial commitment or financial benefits to the business. And you also have to know those whose responsibilities are non-financial. That way you know how to target grievances in the system. The next thing is to establish a reporting frequency. Establish a reporting frequency. What do you need to do? We need to review and report regularly. First, you get your people to report to you. Establish a template. Make a template, share it to them, tell them, okay, enter data in this format. Maybe if it's day by day, okay, we have a responsibility to clean XYZ place. Okay, who is cleaning, name, signature, put all of those things, and then have a reporting mechanism. It can be weekly, it can be monthly, it can be daily, it can be anyhow, depending on the uniqueness of your business. See, these things called systems, they can be very boring, but they are very important. And as you continue to grow in your business, you begin to digitalize your systems. It becomes easier. So instead of piling up papers, you start to enter the numbers. For example, I love how today we're not taking attendance with paper. We are passing a device around. So you begin to digitalize your system. So you are cutting down on wastage of papers. You're cutting down on wastage of resources. And then the last one is to continue to review the KPIs consistently and adjust targets as the business evolves. Sometimes you may need to cut down on your targets. Maybe because there was a riot. For example, in Ukraine, if a business in Ukraine had set targets at the beginning of the year when the war started, with the war, there's not much they can do anymore. So they have to review. Okay, so you have to stay abreast with what's happening, in the economy, in the country, and that way you continue to update your data such that your business is current. Examples of KPIs by function. The sales team has a responsibility to increase monthly revenue. They have to get more customers. So for KPIs, sales team, monthly revenue generated. So they should be able to show how much they've been able to bring into the business. Sales team, number of new customers acquired. Sales team, conversion rate from leads to sales. I told you about customer onboarding. You remember that the fact that a person says hello does not mean he becomes a client. They are just what they call leads. How do you convert it to real sales? So a sales team is the one to even set up an SOP around follow-up. So if we have not made a deposit or sealed the conversation with a payment, we have to keep following up with you until the payment happens. So, customer service, average complaint resolution time, customer satisfaction score, rate of repeat business, that is, how many clients are coming back. Operations, production efficiency rate, downtime frequency, delivery turnaround time. Finance, monthly cash flow position, expense to revenue ratio. Expense to revenue ratio. Why am I stressing or drawing my ears here? Many businesses are failing in this regard. We're spending more than we are getting. And many of us don't even know it until our accounts hit on zero. So what systems are we putting in place? How are we setting the KPIs to ensure that there are people who have it as part of their jobs to make sure that the business does not spend more than what it's getting? Because by the time you set the right people, if we're supposed to spend, they will tell you, oh God, we can't spend though. They will tell you outrightly that we can't spend, no, we didn't get much money this year, so we can't buy this, we can't pay for this, we can't do that. Once we pay salary, we keep the remaining money. It's very important. Okay, human resources, staff turnover rate. These ones are checking. How many staff are just resigning from the company and leaving? What's the problem? Do we need to do any kind of intervention? Do we need to do any kind of program? Do we need to work on any of our policies? Training hours per employee, absenteeism rates, and marketing, cost per lead, website traffic growth. Those people are checking how many people visit our websites, okay? Social media engagement rate. How many followers do we have? How many followers are actually translating to real sales? How many people who chat with us on Instagram actually seal deals with us? How many people are converted from there to actually, finalize the deals on whether WhatsApp or phone calls? So those are the questions that you ask. I hope we've gotten some value. I don't want to keep us longer, but I want to spend some more time talking to us on the other components, such as internal controls, okay, such as compliance systems. So we will have a part 2 in our next session. Does anyone have a question? Franklin, you do? All right, so let him have the microphone.
Thank you, ma'am. I want to ask, now looking at this, most of these key point which you have listed out, what happens when you don't have enough staff to actually carry out this point?
Good question. Very good question. Now we are startups, and I'm not expecting you to have 8 staff. So I think you can add roles together. So let's assume that you have 3 people plus you 4. The person who does customer service and marketing and sales can be one person because it's very related. So you have to look for how to make one person do 3 things. So the person who is marketing mostly understands how to do social media. The person who also does that knows how to sell because they add up together. So you see that from 8 different roles, you've given 8 roles to one person. So it's remaining 5. Okay, the person who does operations usually has some experience with human resources because they are sitting in the office and they are very conversant with everything in the system. They know operations because they are there every day. And apart from operations of equipment, they also, in the process, interact with a lot of staff. You understand? So the person who does operations can also do human resources. So as you see, sales team, customer service, marketing, one person. Operations, human resources, one person. Finance, even the person that does operations can still do finance. Because the thing with most of these functions is that they are not actively on it every day. There are some weeks when the finance is very heavy, the responsibility is very heavy. There are some times when the operations are very heavy. It's not every day. So this person can share it. Human resources is mostly when they are hiring staff and end of the month, maybe when they have to pay staff. Apart from those few times, for human resource function, you are a bit relaxed. So that person can be the one handling operations. And operations, again, it's not every day that you have activities. It's not every day that you have up times. And then the same thing we said for finance. Finance can even be more frequent than the other functions. And then you, as the owner, you have to be conversant with everything because you have to check everything. So you must be able to get people to handle multiple things. And it's okay if they don't know it completely. I think that's where training comes in. Nowadays, it's so easy to learn anything. I tell people, if you don't know something, you are lazy. YouTube, so there's so many things you can learn now. Just ask YouTube. YouTube will show you the process, how to go through. Many people can edit now. People can edit videos. They can do many things. So this is not the time to say, I don't know it. That's why you have to get people who are serious, who can work with you, who can work on your team. Okay, because now you can get 2 people and round the clock, they understand how to support you. Okay, so beyond just getting people who can work, get people who are very passionate and desirous to see you and your business succeed. One thing I'm thankful for what we are building here is that most of the people who work in our team see the work as part of a business that they are building. So beyond the work or the function as a work, they equally see it as purposeful to them. So you must be able to train your people to see the work as purposeful work, so that in what they are doing for you, they are finding fulfillment. Even when I was an employee working for organizations, I found fulfillment. I didn't see it as I'm working for people, because it will wear you off. You will get tired. You will get frustrated. You get burnt out. I saw it as part of my life's purpose. So I did it differently than someone who was just doing it to get paid at the end of the month. Those are the kind of people you need to get. And it's very possible. Just put your head down and be willing to train. Because while you start off with some of them, they may not know anything, but they are loyal. They want to grow. So you keep training them. And if they are really, really interested, if their hearts are in it, they will stay and they will learn. But one thing I keep telling you guys, which one of my mentors told me, is anything that you delegate to a staff to do for you, make sure you can do it yourself. So as much as you are training people, as much as you are handing over responsibilities to them and trusting them to deliver, be prepared for disappointments. Be prepared to get your heart broken. Be prepared to be confused at how staff are behaving, because they will do it. And that's why when you have a key deliverable to a client, sometimes don't leave it completely in the hands of your team. They may mess it up if they haven't grown to that level of competence. So while they're doing it, while you're trusting them, please know how to do it, to have a backup plan so that you don't fall by the wayside. Any more questions, please? You still have one more? Okay, let's allow him ask one more question.
Thank you. I want to ask on the smart topic. We talk about a realistic goal.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask this question. For instance, maybe you set a target. Maybe you want to realize an amount of money. Now, is it, sometimes they tell us to have faith, actually. So, but now.
They tell you what?
To have faith in what you
have faith.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, must you be able to actually analyze and know how where that budget will come from? Maybe you have set a budget. Maybe I'm setting a budget of 100 million this year, and then for this particular project and for this. Now, will you be able to have drafted how that budget will come from, or is there a possibility of having faith when you are doing this thing? When you come to realistic?
Yeah, I would say yes and no. Let me answer the yes part first, where I said you should be able to realistically see how you will achieve it, because it's a goal. Okay, and the yes is the bigger part, because you should already have an estimation of how you hope to achieve it. Now, I know the faith part that you're referring to. The faith part is, but the money is not on ground, the strategy is not on ground, and I've not even entered the field yet to see if this plan that I'm having is going to work. But that's where the whole planning and the thought processes will have to come in. In that phase of making your plan, even if everything is not 100% clear, what you need to do is estimate what you can do. I'll give you an example. You have an NGO. You guys are hoping that you'll be able to raise, let us say, $100,000 to solve some educational intervention that you're looking for or looking at. And you're hoping that this year you would raise $100,000 to be able to do that. How do you aim to do it? What you should be writing in your plan is, yes, $100,000. We are going to make XYZ brochures. We are going to go to, yeah, please. It's too much noise. Okay, we're going to go to, maybe you can say, we would draft 10 proposals per month. We would identify donors and draft 10 proposals per month. Now, you don't know who those donors are. You don't know where they are. But the plan to draft 10 proposals per month and to identify 10 will put you on your toes to find the 10. That's where it becomes realistic. That's where it becomes possible. So you will start drafting. So that work, what the plan does is it puts you on the work. It puts you under pressure to draft the 10 proposals per month. So in that process, your team is checking, who have we not reached to? Oh, we heard that there's one person. Oh, we heard that there's one organization. And that way you are drafting. All right, what's next? Let's go have a meeting with them. Let's show them what we've done. Let's do this and let's do that. That only comes when you have drafted it. So you don't just enter by faith. Yes, you need to be clear because you have to have something written down. No, you don't have to be clear about everything because you don't need to specifically state who and who and who you are going to. You can start by saying draft 10 proposals every month. Or you can start by saying identify 10 possible or potential donors to support youth empowerment, support educational programs every month. Number 2 on that KPI is to draft 10 proposals to send to those 10 donors. Number 3 is to send emails and request for meeting opportunities. Most of them will not answer you. But guess what? If you do 10 every month, by the 9th month, by the 6th month, by the 10th month, you will get one breakthrough. And that one breakthrough may not be much, but then when you do it, after some time, you hit another breakthrough. That breakthrough might be the real hit. Any more questions, please? Let's give him an opportunity. Let's take the questions. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I think in the course of answering this question, you've explained.
I've already answered your question. What was your question?
Yeah, my question actually is how to, like, when you talk about being realistic about setting up your targets, how do you go about achieving them where all the machineries are not completely on ground in terms of human resource, in terms of finances? Already, you've set up a company in your head already. Maybe a real estate company, for instance, because all this organogram completely applies to everything you're going to do in real estate to translate to real-time marketing. And this is most of the challenges we're having every day. Most times you sit down, you draft this, you do this, you contact this person, and you do all of that. At the end of the day, the result is not tangible, like you said. But what I've taken from the question you answered now is consistency. When you do emails, try to reach out again and again, not giving up just because you did once or twice and there was no response. Like I have a market I've created. People of high profiles, personalities in the society that I feel each of my email marketing we send to them, there should be a response. But the response is not forthcoming until one particular person responded. Just like everything you explained just now perfectly suits my question I was going to ask.
Perfect.
And once immediately that person answered, it looked as if other person start like, do you know this person? Did he really handle what he was saying? What he was saying, was it real? And all of that, because there are lots of doubters, especially when you try to make your business digital in Nigeria. It's part of the challenges we face.
Yeah.
People don't believe things online actually translate to reality most
It
times.
does sometimes. Okay, thank you very much. Someone is asking, as a newly coming entrepreneur who is going into production, what study can I go into to enable me become an entrepreneur with a difference? This is from Tochukwu Godson Ogwoma. I think there are many trainings. You've rightly said it. You are an upcoming entrepreneur, and I love that you want to make a difference. But you haven't stated what sector you are in. I think what you need to do is to delve deeper into your sector. You need to check also what your sectors, what your competitors are doing. Look for the biggest players in your sector. Aim to reach their heights first. Aim to surpass their heights next. And once you delve into your sector, you will see materials that show a lot of that gives you a lot of guidance into how to do certain things, what steps to take. And then I think you will learn it. Register for classes, depending on how far you want to go. I've seen people who went to read law over again. I've seen people who went to read certain courses, do an MBA again. They went to do a new course. They had finished that rank in their life, but they went back just because they wanted to gain new knowledge or they wanted to gain additional knowledge. So please, you are free to identify which heights you want to reach in life. And once you are able to reach there, you have nothing stopping you. Go for it. I'm hoping and praying that you have the resources that you need, because that's the next thing many people complain about. I really want to learn, but I don't have the resources. But guess what? We're now in a time where educational materials are everywhere. You don't even need to go to a certain school to get it anymore. You have it everywhere. I told you, anything you want to learn, even things as simple as cooking, as simple as taking care of babies. People even do reality TV shows now to show you how to do everything. Okay, so you have so much information out there. There's nothing stopping you. Okay. Do we have any more questions? No questions. You wanted to give a contribution. What is that?
Okay, concerning what he asked, he was saying that we should have faith towards our own business. Okay, I'll use myself as an example. I started with just one staff, and then during my meeting, my twin sister, she's also into IVF, she's a nurse, and then she told me something. She said, you don't need the resources to have staffs. You don't have to be selfish. You have to bring in people who have better ideas to make the team move forward. So this is what we did. Then I was just earning 400,000 naira a month. And I had a target that, okay, the next month we are going to make 10 million naira, but I don't know how it was going to happen. So she said, get staffs. You will see the results. Now, number 2, work with social media. There's money in social media we don't know. Go on social media and start training. Get a mentor and then see that mentor as your eye. Draft out what you want. Draft out how you're going to make this money in 1 month. And I did that. I got new staff. I did not know how I was going to pay them. Then I went on social media. I wanted someone to boost my post. She said, you can do it yourself. Go on social media and check how to boost your post on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. And that was what I did. She said, get a good graphic designer. Now, when you have a business sector, your graphic design, when people see your design, is what attracts them. Number two, your caption, the words you use. You need professional words. For example, if you're in the medical field, there are words you use. If you're a caterer, there are words you use. So that was what I did. And then after I drafted it out, I did that. In 1 month time, we were able to meet that target. Right now, we have 8 staffs. So this is what I'm just trying to tell you.
It's in order to put your hands together for her, because that's such a huge achievement. Yes.
So, in fact, by next month, we are recruiting 4 more people into it. So
Wow.
what I'm trying to tell us here is that we should not be selfish. You can get 8 staff and then make them to multitask. You write out what you want to do in the next 1 month. If you want to make 5 million naira in 1 month, you can do it. You just have to strategize. That's what I'll have to say now.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Right. So I think she has hit it on the head. You can achieve much with more. I know they say you can achieve much with less, but sometimes you may need to add some more just so that you can go that extra mile. That's really what she's saying. You have to make room for people, more people to come in. When more people come in, everyone begins to challenge each other. Everyone begins to challenge you. You begin to challenge them. And then the possibilities expand because there are more people to do the job. And please, while you get on board more people, let them know that we have a deadline. Let them know that we have a target, so that people don't become lazy and start, sitting back to do what they like. Why you need to let them know that we have a target and we're going to be reviewing regularly is so that if you somehow think you made a hiring mistake, you can quickly correct it. Because as a small business or as a startup, you don't have the time to start waiting for 1 year before you let someone go. If after 2 months, that's why you have probation. Okay, if after 2 months you're not getting the value, you may have to let the person go. With this, we have to end the session today. We've had a fantastic time with all of you. Thank you to our online audience that has joined us, and we're hoping to have part 2 in July. Today was good. We're not giving you assignments because we already had the assignments treated in class today. We were supposed to draft your KPIs, but please, you can take it back, draft your own SOPs, draft your own KPIs, and I'll take a look at them. From the last assignment, a number of you did not submit. Yes, I took a look at the submissions, and I took a look at those that did not submit. So if you come to my class next month without submitting, those of you who didn't submit, you are looking at me with one kind of eye. Okay, well done. So don't come to my class next month if you have not submitted your assignment. I'll keep a special space for you outside. From there, I'll be going back home. But again, I understand you're all so busy, but the essence of these assignments is to get you to actually do the work. It's for your good. It's for your good. So if you don't do the assignments, that means you're not showing that you're getting value from here. It takes a lot of work to put all these things together. So please spend some time and do your assignments so that you can actually build your business. Thank you all, our online audience. Have a lovely weekend and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you and goodbye.